Hello, my sad excuse for an older sister who had her fiancé stolen from her. How have you been doing? I have been blessed with a child, and I am living a lovely life with my husband. But this time it looks like my husband and I are going to be moving back home with Mom and Dad. Could my sad excuse for a sister who no longer has anyone that loves her leave their house, please? Huh? Wait, is that you, Abby? Didn't you run away and never want to talk with me ever again? Wow, what a fun reaction. Are you shocked to finally be getting a text from your sister you haven't seen in years? Good to hear. And it's great that I'm able to chat with you again. You think this is great? Tell me right now where you ran off to and what you've been doing. The last thing I remember of you is you coming into my wedding and running off with my fiancé. What the hell have you been doing? Hey, calm down, Cassandra. That happened 2 years ago. Don't tell me you still hold something like that against me, you stupid woman. I don't think there's anyone who wouldn't hold that against you after 2 years. You made both of our families go into a panic after what you did. My fiancé's parents had to come and beg me for forgiveness at my feet. Is that so? Kyle and I had been wondering what happened after we left you recently. That's the first time I've heard his name in a while. Do you have any idea how many people you guys pissed off after running away from the wedding like that? You think we cared about all of them? We were both young at the time and didn't really care what others thought. I get that Kyle had to run off with me on the day of your guys' wedding, causing quite the stir, but he was always wondering if he really wanted to get married to you or not. Did you notice that about him at all? I don't care what the reasoning was for it. What you both did was completely screwed up and something none of us will ever forget. Don't tell me you understand that, but still want to come back and live with Mom and Dad. Well, come on now. Nothing that bad actually happened to them, so all we have to do is apologize for it and boom, no more angry people, right? After all, we did something that most other couples could never do. And that is figuring out just before making a huge mistake that we love one another and needed to be together. Why would you say it like that? I'm sure you'd never understand what the power of true love can be like. I mean, you may have thought you knew at the time, but that love you felt from Kyle was all fake, right? Kyle and I were meant to be together, and the love we had for one another pulled us both into one another's arms without even having to fear the judgment of all those around us. I'm sure that everyone was very mad before when it all first happened, but we've both been prepared for everyone to be upset about the choices Kyle and I made, and that's why when we come home, we'll show everyone our love for one another and our kids, and everyone will forget why they were angry about us being together. You have kids? You both have kids now? Well, of course we do. We got married, so of course we were going to start making kids. Oh, that's right. Kids that have come from the man you loved and your little sister are like little beings that host all the bad memories you have of us, right? Oh, I'm so sorry about that. But they all exist because the love that Kyle and I have won. So could you stop being upset about the past and stop having resentment towards my kids? What resentment are you talking about? I have no idea what's going on here. I'll be completely honest here by saying I don't care about either one of you anymore. If anything, I'm happy I never ended up having to marry a guy like Kyle. If he's the kind of man that'd be willing to do something as shameful as that, then he's bound to do it again in the future. Acting all tough now, are we? Well, you can see how things have changed. Tell Mom and Dad about this, please. I feel that instead of having me tell them, you doing so would make them understand things a bit more. How about you tell them yourself so that you can see firsthand how upset they still are with you? Why should I have to tell them? You have to, because they're still going to yell at me, right? If I were to try talking to them right now, they'd freak out on me and might even block my number, right? That would be a pain in my ass. You know, I'm the kind of girl that hates things being so painful, so go on and tell them for me. If I were to have a talk with them first, I'd be pouring gasoline right on the fire, right? You can't seriously think I'm going to do anything for you now. If you know that they won't want to talk to you, then give up on trying to come back into our lives. What? Did you really become such an old bitch these past few years? I could have sworn you were a lot more cooperative before. But now you're acting like I need to figure everything out on my own here, when I'm the one who's going to be attacked by everyone. I hope you understand that what you've done was not okay at all. But hold on, Cassandra. You just said something pretty interesting to me. You said you don't care about us anymore, right? Which means you don't want Kyle anymore. I'm not talking about him right now. Well, if you don't care about him and I anymore, then you're not mad at us anymore either, right? Then what's so bad about you having to tell Mom and Dad that we're coming home? It's not like you care about what we're doing. And if you, the victim of everything, doesn't happen to care, then Mom and Dad can't care about me either. That wouldn't be fair. Now you go and tell them you're fine with us coming home, and that should put an end to all this anger, right? Both of you jackasses, neither one of you has changed and never will. Tell me, Abby, why do you guys need to come home all of a sudden now? I remember all those times in the past where you'd say you wanted to leave their house forever, and you finally got that after not saying a word to anyone at my wedding before taking my fiancé and running away, and now you're saying that you've had kids with him? Why do you need to come back to Mom and Dad's house now if you've created a life of your own out there? Because having to take care of kids is tough business. And Kyle's been having to go back to work a lot more often again. The only times he's able to come home and be with the kids is on his days off, which aren't very frequent anymore. At least he gets to be out of the house and doing something besides watching some kids. I have to be here all the time taking care of them and never get any breaks at all. Things in my life have really gotten tough for me, and I don't even have time to see my friends. But wasn't that the life you wanted after stealing my fiancé and having kids with him? Wait, can't he take time off to be home with you and your kids? In order to run away with me at your wedding, he made sure to quit his job at that last company. He only just joined another company 1 year ago and can't be seen asking for any time off just yet. That's why I've ended up acting like a single parent at home. But I'm still very young and want to go out and play more. But you both chose to have kids right after getting married. What did you think would happen after that? You'd just get to leave them at home and go back to playing again? That's why I've been thinking it'd be a good idea to have Mom and Dad look after them for me. Then I wouldn't have to send them to daycare while I go out to play, and that would give me more time and money to go out and do the things I want to. And you think Mom and Dad are going to want to hear such selfish reasoning as that? They've both already had their time as parents raising you and I, and so they're finally enjoying themselves now in all their free time. You think you can say that when you've been living with them this whole time? They don't get to have any free time still because they've been having to take care of their pathetic older daughter who lost her fiancé to her little sister and has been a parasite at home ever since. Huh? Even if that was the truth, you wouldn't feel at least a little bit sorry for what you've done? What? Honestly, I haven't thought about what I've done to you guys at all. After all, it's not my fault you and Kyle didn't communicate more before having that wedding. I just happened to be a better person for him, and he realized that last second. If anything, you should be blaming yourself for not being good enough for him. Are you really saying that right now? If that's what you think, then you really have forgotten your humanity. I don't think there will ever be a day where you and I can be in the same room together with one another. Well, it's not like I was hoping to be around you any. You're just a sore loser whose words fall onto deaf ears. Excuse me? Ever since you've lost your man to me, you've been living the sad life of a shut-in at Mom and Dad's house, right? Don't worry, though, because we're still coming to put an end to that sad life for you. I'm bringing my husband and kids over to live there, and a loser like you can get lost for good. So you're asking me to go tell Mom and Dad that you're coming home and then you're going to kick me out? What the hell? Don't worry, I'm not asking for you to leave their house right now. Let me see here. I'll give you 1 month to get out of their house for me. And it's not like you want to live in the same house as us, right? Would you like to live with Kyle and I while we make love to one another around you? Shut the hell up, Abby. Also, I think you're a bit confused about things still. I haven't been living with Mom and Dad recently. What? Is that so? If that's true, then things don't have to be this complicated anymore. So does this mean you're living all by yourself now as a lonely old woman? I'm living with my husband overseas at the moment. Huh? You don't have to lie to me, sis. Wow, you almost had me believing you there for a second. But there's no way a lie like that was going to work on me. I know someone as pathetic as you could never have a husband overseas. I don't need you to believe anything I say. By the way, I don't actually have any interest in you, Cassandra. So lying isn't going to do any good for you, okay? Anyhow, I'd like you to tell Mom and Dad about this for me. Please and thank you. Sure.
Cassandra, long time no see, huh? It's me. Are you doing all right? Have you finally stopped your sobbing and found yourself a better man?
Kyle? Who the hell do you think you are talking to me again?
Come on already. You don't have to be in shock over someone like me. You were just talking with my wife yesterday, right? We've been thinking of moving in with your parents here soon, so I thought that I'd just chat with you for a bit.
Well, screw off then. You never once replied to any of my calls or texts after running off with my sister. Do you have any idea what you've done, Kyle?
Ugh, so annoying. You've always been too serious for me. I found that great back when you and I were dating, but in the end I knew I couldn't marry a stick in the mud.
You know that had nothing to do with me being serious. You just wanted my sister and never had the balls to tell me until our wedding day. Well, at least I was able to get the last laugh having your parents kissing my feet after they had to apologize to me for months.
Oh, I heard about that from Abby yesterday, but like she'd been saying, that's all in the past now, right? You're just wasting time going on about all of that again. Also, you're just as much to blame for that, considering you couldn't make yourself more attractive to me. Sorry to say this now, but your little sister is way sexier than you, and even knows how to please a man in bed.
Is that right? Then why did you even bother proposing to me or anything like that?
At first, I really did want to make you my wife, all right? But look, on the day of our wedding, I realized that the only woman who was meant for me was her. She just looked so beautiful on our wedding day and even gave me a good kiss before I came out to see you. I had my hand around her big ass as we kissed and my other on the soft, peachy skin of her face. I'm sorry, but that's the kind of woman that stops a man's heart. When I came out and saw you on stage, I couldn't even tell where your back ended and your ass began. That's why I thought then was my last chance, and so I took it to be with Abby.
In other words, you're into younger women with more attractive bodies. I'm not going to make any comments about that right now, but you should have figured that out a lot sooner before you proposed and had a wedding with me.
You think so? It's hard being a man when you have to think about all the women you could be with. And for me, it took time before I could narrow down what kind of woman I really wanted.
Does this mean that even now you have your eyes led away from Abby for an even younger and sexier woman? My sister's getting older now, and it's starting to show.
I suppose I have been thinking lately about how her age is beginning to show, and ever since she had kids, those stretch marks are eyesores to me. She's also lost that cute attitude she had before for something more motherly. She's starting to remind me of my mom now, and that's no good. But I've at least been taking time off from work to be home with her to try and keep her relaxed. Wouldn't want Abby getting too stressed and aging faster now, would we?
What? I heard that you didn't take any time off to be home, though.
What? Huh? Wait, no, that was a mistake on my part. I meant I had to use my paid vacation to be home with the kids and help Abby out.
Well, none of that really matters to me anyway. Actually, if you guys are needing help with the kids, why not go live with your parents? Why do you both think you can come back to my parents' house and live there?
That's because I want to keep distance from my family. However, Abby, for some reason, would still like to remain close to your parents. That's why we decided we'd be moving in with them soon.
Why not hire a babysitter instead, then? Or could it be that all your time spent out on the town at night is still consuming all your money?
Ugh, look, you're starting with that again? I don't gamble or anything like that anymore.
I see. I don't really care, though.
Anywho, I want you to make sure to tell both of your parents that we're coming to live with them now.
I already told Abby that I would. I don't need to hear the exact same words from you as well. Hold on, Cassandra. What's going on here? Have you been trying to fool us or something? Now that I look at my calendar, it's about time things started to play out again. You guys are supposed to be going home to see Mom and Dad and have some sort of a deeply emotional reunion, right? What do you mean, deeply emotional reunion? There isn't even a house here anymore. Yet Mom and Dad were both there, and they took all of us with them. What the actual hell is going on here? Explain this to me right now. Hey, calm down now, Miss Crazy Pants. Things are exactly the way you're experiencing them. As for the house, Mom and Dad sold it, and it was turned into rubble before having the land sold. And the both of them are living in a completely different house now. Did they not explain any of this to you already? Nobody has said anything to us yet. Both of Kyle's parents have shown up as well, and they're both chewing him out right now. Cassandra, you need to come here right now. Tell them all that you've already forgiven us and that they have no reason to be mad anymore. I never forgave either one of you, so don't lie to them like that. Cassandra, do something about this, please. They're going to make sure that the both of you pay up for all those costs that had to be paid after you both ran away. Both of his parents ended up paying me in order to pay off the whole wedding, but they're going to want the money paid to them now by their son and you. So as long as you both can do that, I'm sure they'll let you all go. You think either of us have the money to pay them back? We've been having to take care of our kids, so we don't have that kind of money. Well, none of us really care about your guys' situation. If you don't hand that money over right now to his parents, then they're going to put you both to work. But I'm a housewife right now, and I can't be working. That's the whole reason why I don't have any money now and won't be able to make any. I'll just have Kyle pay his parents, all right? I don't care who pays them back as long as they get the money they're owed. You both have to pay them one way or another. That's all. Why are you all like this right now? Why is everyone still so angry at us? Why? Oh, don't ask me why, Abby. You already know the answer to that, and so does Kyle, right? Both of you guys have been the worst of the worst. And ever since that day, you both have just been causing more and more trouble, right? Huh? What are you talking about? Stop trying to change the topic here. I'm not trying to change the topic right now. I'm just done talking with you about the money, and so the next topic is this. You both have been doing terrible things behind one another's backs, so it's time you started to communicate better, all right? Huh? What are you going on about, Cassandra? Stop trying to beat around the bush and tell me what you're on about. What are you both thinking going out with other people behind one another's backs? Huh? What are you... You know what I'm talking about. You know more than me, I'm sure. I kind of wonder, though, you've been wanting to spend time with so much that's made you want to give your kids to Mom and Dad. Huh? Wait, seriously, what is this about? I told you before that I'm just wanting to go see my friends. Your friends? You don't have any more friends after words spread around about you stealing my fiancé and running away with him. Shut up! I've made new friends since then. What the hell? None of that crap has anything to do with you anyway. I guess it doesn't, does it? But I just want to make sure that you both burn in hell after today. What? I've been wanting that for a while now, so I went and did a little bit of snooping into your guys' private lives. And that's when I found some pretty juicy things. Honestly, I have to say thank you for helping put that rope around your neck for me. Seems you've already been wanting to end yourself, so I've been saved plenty of time here. I already knew you both were these kinds of people, but I just didn't expect things to be so developed now. I'm happy to see you picked up the pace, though. Tell me what you've been talking about right now. I am tired of you beating around the bush about it. Tell me right now what you mean. Right now you have another man you're very close with who isn't Kyle, right? What did you think you were doing, leaving your kids with Kyle to go out and see him? Why do you know about that? Well, you made it very clear to me that you wanted to come back home to Mom and Dad so badly to have them take care of your kids that there had to be a reason for it. You said that reason was so you could have more fun, and that sparked an idea in my head. What if my little sister is trying to be with other men still, and that's why she needs someone else to watch the kids now that Kyle is back at work? So after a little bit of deep snooping, I figured out you have not one but a couple of other men you've been with. I think it's time now, though, that you confess to your husband about all of that. So, you really looked into all of that? Yes, I really did. Ever since you and I met at that cafe a few weeks back and chatted for a second, I've been snooping. I thought things were off when you said you wanted to talk for a little bit after running into me there. You framed me. It's not framing when there's proof you've committed the crime. But don't worry, Abby. I told you, right? You both have been doing things behind one another's back with other people. What? So then, Kyle as well? Yes, that's right. I told you if he was willing to leave me for you at our wedding, then he'd be willing to leave you for someone else later on. Come on now. If that's the case, then we're both to blame, him and I. You can't say that one of us is worse than the other for that, right? We both can confess to cheating and move on with our life. I'm sure between you both, cheating on one another is fine, but what about your other partners? What? What does that mean? One of those men you've been with, he's married, right? And after finding that out, I learned the same applies to the other woman Kyle's been with. In Kyle's case, he was using up all his paternity leave he got from work to go out and see her. Did you know that he was using his time off for that? Wait, no way. That's not at all what happened, so I'm not sure how to think about this. Well, there you go. That's all I needed to say to you, so I'll be going now. Good luck to the both of you from here on out. Oh, I forgot to mention this. It turns out that Kyle has been getting in deep with his other girl, and the kid she ended up having turned out to be his. What? They had a kid together? It turns out that Kyle's parents believed he'd already left you and found a new woman he married. They asked him to have a kid with her, and so he did, thinking that you were long gone by now. So both of Kyle's parents think that she's his wife, and that woman's husband has been led to believe that the kid his wife had is his. I'm sure you're all going to have a large conference about all of this with everyone involved in order to figure something out. So good luck. You're lying, right? Wait, I'm not able to understand everything yet. I'm sure you don't want to accept things now, but you will. You really just thought you could get away with hurting me even more while you got to live your life whichever way you wanted to. But this is going to be the end of that life you thought you could have and the beginning of the hell you deserve. I've already made sure to send evidence to both of your secret partners, so enjoy! I'm not sure how things will end up there, but just make sure you pay Kyle's parents back before you get killed. After being taken by both my parents and Kyle's parents, as well as having to learn that both of their secret partners obtained the evidence I sent them, they were forced to not only pay Kyle's parents for the wedding, but also pay massive settlements to both of the people they'd been with. Having both been completely destroyed by what had gone down, Kyle and Abby both wanted a divorce. But they wouldn't be getting it for some time, as they both had to spend at least a few months burning in hell. They both still had to figure out what to do with their two kids, and neither of them really wanted to take them in the end, having only made them on accident after countless times of unprotected sex. In the end, though, it would be Kyle being forced to take them in the divorce, as he had the money to care for them and a better chance. Abby was still without a job, and considering that she made it very obvious to everyone that she was less fit to be a mother than Kyle a father, the judge ruled she could not have them and would be forced to pay Kyle child support. As for the kid that Kyle had with his other woman, whose husband would later learn that it was Kyle's kid and not his own, that husband went and took the kid and told everyone to go screw themselves before going back home to his family. In the very end, Abby was forced to give up the house to Kyle, but she did at least get a few grand from him in the divorce. She was able to get herself an apartment, but would soon find out that it's a lot harder to find a job than an apartment in that town. Hopefully she can start making money before that pocket change she received runs out, or else there will be a new beggar on the streets in that town, which I'm luckily no longer having to live in.